Hey, beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. I guess you can call it a podcast. And first of all, I want to say thank you to all my new subbies. Welcome to the beautiful family, beautiful people. We are so happy that you are here. Thank you so much for subscribing. I really do appreciate you. Secondly, I want to say what I tell y'all about Crazy Camille? Didn't I say she was leaving? Didn't I say if they voted him off, she was leaving too? Why? Because she's batshit crazy. And that is why I'm ready for the reunion. Because I would love to see if they still together today. I would love to see if Cornelius's family, that's his name, right? Yeah. Cornelius's family saw how this girl treated him and did not tell him to get away from her quick, fast, in a hurry. The same way nephew Tommy was trying to give him hints and everything, like, dude, red flags aren't going up for you, like nothing. Yeah, I would love to know if they are still together, but I called it. Y'all, I am so humble. All right, let's get to the show. All right, so the episode starts off exactly where it ended, with Camille telling him she's crying like crazy, like somebody kicked her freaking dog. And she's telling him that the girls don't think he's ready to love. He's like, interesting. He's a little surprised. And my whole thing is, why are they surprised? Did they really think that they were going to stay to the end because they found each other? Like, it's just a vacation for them? I don't understand their way of thinking in terms of, okay, we booed up like right away, but we still expect to stay on the show. I don't get it. All right, so then we flip back to unstable Zadia and unattractive Naeem, and he gets to stay. You guys, I don't understand. He's so... Y'all already know how I feel about him. I don't like his face. I don't like his voice. I don't like anything about this guy. But he's still here with unstable Zadia. So good luck with that. All right, you guys, let's get into exactly what they say as they are exiting, Cornelius and Camille. And she's saying, yeah, who knows where this could go. I would choose you time and time again. I'm self-eliminating with you. Okay. And she's like, maybe we can have babies, this and that, or whatever. He's like, pace yourself. He's in his confessional saying, my biggest regret is not having a connection with any of the other women. And I'm like, yo, this girl is leaving with you and talking about how she would choose you over and over again. However, on your exit, you're saying, damn it, should have talked to some other women. Yeah, they not together no more, y'all. He was literally just playing crazy with crazy to stay on the show. Guaranteed. All right, so then we go over to Phil and Shiloh. Y'all, she be missing from like every episode, and then they throw her in once a month. It's ridiculous. But Phil and Shiloh, they're cooking, and he's kind of saying in his confessional how it's hard to really focus on one when he's dating more than one. I don't know, Phil. I don't know. All right, so basically, to sum up their date, she wants to know where she stands with him. She's telling him she's all in and he's the number one for her. He's still like, yeah, as you know, I have another connection, so I don't know yet. And I'm like, these girls are playing themselves so bad, Jesus. And the men aren't even worth it. Like, you guys are playing yourselves, and for what? For what? All right, so then we have Aisha and Dante, and they're sitting on a bench having a little date. He's asking how she's decompressing from the whole thing that happened last night. She starts getting into it again. He's like, whoa, that's not where we are. Calm down. So Aisha says she's not worried about Zadia. She doesn't have a leg to stand on because her and Dante are good. They give a little kiss. He picks her up and walks her away. In his confessional, he says that he wants to talk to Zadia because they need to hash out some things that he ain't like. All right, then we have thick ass Frank with his colorful shirt and Mumin with her prom dress on, walking holding hands in the park. Wig looks a mess as usual. She just does. I'm sorry. There's nothing. God, I try not to be so mean on these because it doesn't call for that, but it kind of does because it's a dating show and we're here to critique them. I'm sorry, but yeah, her and her wig, it's a mess. So Thick Ass Frank says, although he has a connection with Wig, he still has feelings for Sydney. She checks off a lot of boxes in a lot of other different ways or whatever. It's so funny because he gets some ice cream and they sit down in the park to eat it, and his legs are so short. They didn't have to show him like that. They didn't have to show that. But y'all, I'm telling you, and I say this every review. I like Thick Ass Frank. I do. I don't have anything against him at all. And again, in me calling him thick, I just mean thick as in solid. Thick Ass Frank is all right with me with his constantly smiling self. All he does is smile. How can you hate that? Well, Megan, on the other hand, I can hate on her because her wig is pissing me off. It's pissing me off the more I look at it. But Thick Ass Frank, listen, he's a romantic. He gives her a golf ball from one of their dates or their first date or something. He wrote her name on it. You guys, I had the same thing happen to me. It was a golf ball. It was purple, and he gave it to me because it was on one of our dates or whatever. He turned out to be so ain't shit. Like, really, he could take that golf ball and again, we have Wig telling him, listen, you're my one. This is where I'm parked. I'm here with you. And he's telling her, yeah, but I got another connection. So, me and Sydney, and I just kind of want to weigh out my options or whatever. And I'm like, these women, when I tell you they couldn't have paid me to say I choose you before time, but maybe that just comes with age, the wisdom, and comes with age where, no, sir, I'm not saying shit before you. Not one thing. All right, so Dante is sitting waiting for Zadia. And you guys, when I watch stuff like this, it's all nighttime with the fire. I miss going out on dates and everything, I guess. Like going downtown at night, being all dressed up. I miss the dates. I don't miss the drama and the stress from men. So coming into the date, her energy is all off. She comes, he give her a hug, like, hey, how you doing? She's like, how you doing? And she's just kind of manly, you guys. She sits down. It's like she don't know how to sit in a dress. Her legs are all open. I'm like, girl, you have on a dress. I know you're used to wearing nothing but workout clothes, but close your legs. And she's basically saying she's high strung because Aisha came out of nowhere and he just kind of went ghost on her. Yeah, because you're crazy. So he asked her what she think about the, little getaway. And she's like, I feel like you abandoned me because I walked into, I guess, deliberation with Tommy and the women. And she's like, I was blindsided. I had no idea what was going on. This fool said she felt like she was uncovered and unprotected. What are you talking about? You know what? Her and Camille should definitely be friends because they're both weirdos. And he's like, yeah, it's funny you say that because this is a process. And in the process, you knew I was going to be dating other people. Her point is, yeah, but you could have told me that you were giving massages and things like that beforehand. So I don't like her, but I did understand what she was saying. But with this being a game and a show and a process, I don't know that he really owed her that. And that was kind of his point. I don't really owe you that. So of course she's starting to raise her voice and be loud and belligerent because that's just how she is and combative. And in her confessional, she's like, yeah, he's using this soft voice that can't nobody hear him. And I'm like, okay, the soft voice was fine before. Now can't nobody hear him and you don't like it. Okay. And she's like, and I'm wondering why you talking to me like this when you just wasn't, I ain't hear from you for a couple days. She's so confused. So she tells him that she feels like he has her just sitting in the wind. And I'm like, do you mean waiting in the wings, dumbass? Yeah, I think that's what you mean. And then she asks him why. You're cooking with, what's her name, Aisha, doing rub downs or whatever with Aisha, and I'm waiting in the winds. Why? He told her he felt like she made her decision. I don't know when. I don't know. I don't understand what he's saying, but then again, I don't care enough to really follow them. So maybe he did feel like she made her decision. But anyway, he tells her that, listen, he got a connection with Aisha. So she looks at him and she asks him in her manly voice. Well, her voice isn't manly. Just the way she acts is manly. The way she's sitting, the way she's like all up on him like a man. She's like, so what are you telling me? What are you saying to me? And he's like, yeah, I'm telling you that I'm feeling Aisha. It is what it is. She's like, oh, now you're communicating. He's like, yeah, I am. Oh, see, now that's that bullshit. I was like, okay, Tyrone then came up out of her. So she asked him, did you ever care about me? Did you ever, care at all? Because it doesn't look that way. And I'm like, Jesus, how long have these people been knowing each other? Really? I don't think it's that long for them to be having these kind of conversations and breakups and feelings. Ugh. But he says, what do you think? She says, yeah, you enjoy yourself, you and Aisha. And she kind of taps him on his arm in a manly kind of way, like she was trying to hit him on the sly. And she's like, you enjoy your long talks with Aisha about nothing. I'm like, you told him, girl. You told him. She walks away. So, y'all, this guy got all the food coming to him. And when I tell you he was super happy about this food, I hadn't seen him smile all night until the food arrived. And she's on the phone walking to the elevator. All of a sudden, Miss Unstable comes back. He says, I see her in a distance, turn around, and yeah, I'm sure he's pretty scared. She comes back, she leans in, and she's like, yeah, just so you know, you never played second fiddle. I was going to choose your ass before the house and all this crap. And he's like, oh, you was going to roll with me? Yeah, but you showed your whole ass, basically. Because she's punching him, not punching him, but she's like tapping his nose as she's talking to him, lean down into his face, the same way like you would a kid or something. It was so weird and rude and out of bounds. Like he said, when she left, she overstepped her bounds, and she did. She put hands on him for no good reason. Girl, he didn't choose you. Keep going. Move around. All right, so then we have Walter and Sabrina. They have a date, and she's trying to fix, I guess they're cooking at the table. She's like, I'm trying to put the meat in the water. And he says, that's what she said. I'm like, don't you dare use that's what she said out of context. It didn't go there. Didn't go there. When is a woman ever going to say, I'm trying to put the meat in the water? That don't even sound... Walter, get it together. So at the table, they're talking about how, Walter's like, yeah, this is a no-brainer. And she's like, well, yeah. And they're talking about how they always match. They both have on black or whatever. And he tells her she looks like a superhero from the future. And he says, nah, you look like you used to be a madam. And I'm like, that's shade, Walter, because you got an issue with the fact that she used to be a dancer. And she says to him, no, but don't forget I used to be a dancer. And I'm like, yeah, she just doesn't seem shame at all. She's like, listen, this is what it is. And he's like, yeah. So in the confessional, he's saying how he had an issue with that, but he's trying to get around it because everybody has a past. So she's talking to him and saying something about the fact that he doesn't call, and she had to get past that whole situation of him not calling and texting. However, in the confessional, she's saying that it's still going on. She's like, yeah, she hasn't really heard from Walter. He don't really call her or reach out, and she feels like he's choosing her by default. And I'm like, I think he is. Like, Walter, again, you guys, and I'm going to say this over and over again because it's true. These men are just playing the game to stay on the show. They really are. I don't think Walter liked wig because, well, look at her wig. He couldn't have. But then again, he had the ghetto ex-girlfriend, so he might have liked it just fine. But yeah, I don't think any of these men really feel any of these women. Everybody's just here to stay on the show. And I don't know why, because they don't win a prize in the end, do they? They don't win money. So they end their date with her telling him she's going to give him the same energy he gives her. And I'm like, that's what I'm all about. That's what I'm all about. You calling me? Okay, I'll call you. Or at least I'll pick up. But you're not calling me, I'm not calling you. Same energy. We matching energies over here. So then we have Phil and Sydney and her annoying voice. And she's like, listen, I know that, you and I have a connection, but I also know that you have this really deep connection with Shiloh. And he's like, yeah, we really did connect. However, there's always bumps in the road. And I'm like, there's the downplay. Yeah, of course he got to try to downplay it some kind of way. So he asked her about Thick Ass Frank, and she's like, I like him. I like him. We have a connection or whatever. And she's like, but I do want us to get to know each other more. And clearly the chemistry is there. My whole thing with Sydney, you guys, and good guy feel is the fact that he was not paying her attention. I said it before, I'll say it again. She's in it for the chase. She doesn't really like Phil, I don't think. I think she's attracted to Phil, like sexually, or either maybe she's just super horny because she gives off all this to him. And I don't know why, but I think it's the chase. Like, she's like, listen, want me, like me, so she's using her feminine wiles and sexuality to try to get at him. Maybe she's not even all that. I don't know, but she's playing the game because I don't think she like him like that. I think she actually likes Frank because in the deliberation, how quick did she jump and say Frank is her boyfriend? Frank's my boyfriend. He's my guy. That's my guy. And I'm like, she likes Frank, I think. But I think it's the thrill of the hunt for her with this guy because he did not show any sort of interest. And as soon as he does, I think she's going to choose Frank. Could be wrong, but how often am I wrong, y'all? How often am I wrong? What I say, I'm so humble. So, Phil shares a really touching story about his mom passed like 4 years ago, and the one thing that's really weighing on him is the fact that she passed before he was able to give her grandkids. And all right, we're gonna go past this. So he tells her that he dates with intention. So, you know what? I like nice guy Phil. Right now, he's my number one. I like nice guy Phil. But according to the the previews for next week, I can't wait to see what the heck Phil did because he definitely did something. So again, after that, she starts throwing herself at him again. She's like, the energy is there. I just need you to act on it. I know you like to take your time. And I'm like, she is definitely acting like the dude here. Like, just throw yourself at him already. Do you need to wet your whistle? So basically, they kiss. It's whatever. All right, now we get to the good part. The men sit down with nephew Tommy. So he starts off by saying, yeah, so, apparently Camille and Cornelius weren't ready to love. And that's pretty much all they said about the fact that Cornelius and Camille left. It's so crazy that nobody else mentioned it. Like, they didn't have conversation about it. I mean, I guess that's not what the show is about. We'll talk about it at the reunion. But yeah, they just mentioned it kind of like, yeah, nobody was like, dang, she, eliminated herself or anything. Like, nobody said anything in the confessional or anything. Just my observation. So nephew Tommy asked how the trip went, and thick ass Frank is starting to tell him about the altercation that happened. And he names off Aisha and Zadia, and he's like, Aisha just mainly said that people, should be able to go through the process how they want to, or whatever she said. And he's like, and with her saying that, there were faces and eye rolling. So then Naeem comes to Zadia's defense and says Aisha was naming people specifically, and that can kind of come off as an attack, and that's what kind of set Zadia off. And I promise you guys, the first time I watched this, I was just like, hold on, why is he defending, like, why does he keep interjecting? He just kept interjecting, trying to really defend Zadia. And then it dawned on me that Zadia is his only person. So if Zadia goes, that's it for him. So I was just like, yeah, makes sense. But I promise you, when he kept interjecting and saying stuff, I was like, what is he talking about? Like, why does he keep jumping in? So again, I guess Frank is talking about what happened and the fact that Camille and Zadia clicked up and has this, brown girls group or whatever. And nephew Tommy's like, hold on. So that's what we doing now? And he says, so when you name it the brown girls group or crew or whatever, what does that do if you're light skinned? And I'm like, thank you. Thank you. It can work both ways. Like, it's just ridiculous that they came up with that. This whole colorist thing, it's ridiculous. And they too grown at their big age, as people like to say, to still be feeding into that bullshit. Like, they just are. They just sound stupid. But then here come unattractive defender again, trying to stay on our television screens. No sir, no thank you. And he's just like, yeah, I don't think they meant it in that way though. I think they just clicked up and that's just what they decided to call themselves. Yeah, and it's stupid, dumbass. So nephew Tommy asked them who they're really feeling at this point. And Walter says Sabrina. He goes into this whole thing about how she used to be a dancer and she just want to be loved for her, yada yada. whatever, dude. Don't try to sauce it up now in front of the guys. You had an issue with it. Then we get to Dante with his no talking ass, and he's just like, Aisha, because I tried to, spend a little time with her. Naim chooses Zadia and goes on and on about how she's family oriented and she's such an awesome person. I'm like, he don't believe that shit himself. He don't believe that. And when I tell y'all, I got my life on this whole scene where all the men were making faces and like they were playing Naeem for the fool that he was trying to make them out to be. Dude, you're not that stupid. But the faces they were making, including Nephew Tommy, I was just like, oh my God. Yo, Frank can't stand Zadia because as Unattractive was talking, Frank was shaking his head, rolling his eyes. So I was like, okay, big ass Frank, you don't like her? I'm with you. I feel you. So he chooses, of course, Sydney and Wig as his people that he's feeling. Dude, at some point you're gonna have to pick one. All right, so of course Phil picks Sydney and Shiloh and says that, him and Sydney have great conversation. It's everything but surface. So I guess that's a good compliment. Yeah, so he says, all right, it's time to say who you're not feeling. Dante said, I invited Zadia out to talk about where we stood and told her that I was feeling Aisha, and she put her hands on me. And then the music goes doo-doo, and then we go to thick ass Frank. He's shaking his head. He got his lips just like, oh my God, when I tell you, it was hilarious. He can't stand her. Yeah, and he tells how she was poking him in the nose. So Nephew Tommy is like, what? And then he goes, really? He turns to Naim and he's like, Naim, whatever his name is. And he's like, so how you feel about that? I feel fine about that. And I'll tell you why. I'm like, yeah, why? Is because you still want to stay on the freaking show. That's why. Because really you don't feel fine about that. You can tell she's batshit crazy. And he's like, we have not had an encounter like that, And I'm sure he's trying to say that, people bring out different things, but no, it's going to come out sooner or later. And that's what the guy Frank basically said. He said, you just haven't had an encounter with her like that yet. And when I tell you, all the eyes were rolling, like all the guys were just like, what is wrong with this dude? And I'm thinking to myself, is he really like okay with letting himself look stupid just to remain on the show? And basically he is. Actually, it was Nephew Tommy that yelled out, yet. It ain't happened to you yet. And thick ass Frank was just saying that it's become a pattern with Zadia. Like she has anger issues. Nephew Tommy asked, Unattractive, so any red flags whatsoever? He's like, no. I go off of the way people treat me, and she's been 100 and solid with me. And when I tell you, every single man is rolling their eyes and everything. I've never seen men roll their eyes so much, but I'm not gonna lie. I got my life. I loved it because that is what I was sitting at home doing the whole time. I'm like, ugh. Bloop. So, Nephew Tommy says, I would just be thinking a little bit more about it. Because in the confessional, Dante is like, yo, what is wrong with this dude? Then we get Unattractive in the confessional. And what does he say? Exactly what I knew. Yeah, Zadia is my only connection here. So if she goes, I'm out of there. That's exactly why you're playing stupid. That's exactly why. So, Nephew Tommy asked Naim, who are you not feeling? Yeah, the person I don't like is Sydney. Her voice is annoying. I couldn't pursue her based on that alone. And I'm like, you're shitty. You didn't even have to say that. As a man, you didn't even have to say that. And I know I said that about Sydney's voice because it's true. However, I'm a woman. Let me be catty. Let me be shady. You're a man. Don't say stupid shit like that. Like, to me, men should not be saying stuff like that, especially on TV. Like, he just sounds bitter. Maybe Sydney just played him absolute dust and he just sounds bitter. Frank chooses Zadia and Shiloh, and I'm like, of course he chooses Zadia first. He wants her out so bad. Me too, thick ass Frank. And then Walter says Wig, and I'm like, oh, she really made you mad. You want her all the way out of here. So nice guy Phil chooses Wig as well, and Frank is like, dang, I keep hearing her name floating, and she's gonna be at the bottom, it seems, and I got a connection with her. I would hate to see her go home. So Phil and Zadia meet up, and he's telling her, yeah, I heard about this date. She's like, what date? You guys, she's just exhausting. She really is. So Wig and Walter go for a date. And basically, they're talking about the fact that he got upset because she walked away and, she came in to the date pissed off as well. I think when they know that they get caught off on some of these one on ones, they know that basically what's coming around the bend. But they end up arguing. And so does Nice Guy Phil and Crazy Girl, Unstable. They end up arguing. Unstable calls him a coward. She says, yeah, we met up. He's a coward. He couldn't tell me what was really going on. So basically, Walter told Wig that she can stay. And of course, we got rid of Unstable. So after Phil let Unstable go, we get another scene, and I'm like, hold on, we normally don't get another scene. What's going on here? And we have Unattractive meeting up with nephew Tommy, and I'm like, dude, just go home, okay? Because yeah, nobody else wants you. She didn't even want you. You would have been winning that by default, because what did she tell Dante? I was about to choose you. Unattractive. No one wants you. You can go home. So basically, that's what Tommy told him. He's like, if Zadia not here, she was my only connection, then yeah, who has to tell you to go home? Go home. So he does. So we don't have to look at him or hear his voice anymore. Yay. We're already winning. Um, Thank you guys. If you are still here, you are the real MVP, and I appreciate you. And I will be back with another video very soon. If you have not already, please subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. And I will see you in the next video. Smooches.